Hey guys, how are you? Haven't done a Brexit vid for a while. The truth of the matter is everything we forecast has transpired from the beginning of our coverage prior to the referendum to calling the event that it would be voted for and won despite the bookies to then stating that the extent that it will go, the parliamentary process, the MPs, the disablers that are there to block the will of the people, the extent that they will go to delay, befuddle, and deliver non Brexit options and solutions and avoid the only true real Brexit, which is a complete exit, no deal exit. And that has transpired to the nth degree. The various shenanigans, the parliamentarian acts, the passing of the Benn bill, which actually said that no one can leave without a no Brexit unless first an extension is sought, etc., etc. All of these things have been designed to stymie. Now, for those of you that thought Boris Johnson was a true Brexiter and working for you, I have terrible news for you. The Brexit deal that he proposed actually would maintain Britain's liability. So apart from Britain investing 3.5 billion and owning 16.1% of the EI bank, the European bank that was set up, which is now worth today 11 billion and should be getting back their 16.1% valuation, they will actually, under Boris's deal and under anything but a complete break from the no deal, would remain liable to the tune of 37 billion. And in the event of a full scale during the 12-year repayment of that 11 billion that Britain will eventually get paid piecemeal at a little bit a time over 12 years. At any period during that 12 years, if the Eurozone has a complete meltdown, Britain will be included to the total gross liability of 500 billion under any form of all the deals that have been put forward. 500 billion, and you will have 12 years inside which you would be susceptible for the liability for a collapse and complete meltdown in the EU zone. Now, to me, that is 100% guaranteed event. That is not an if, it's a question of which of the 12 years inside which it takes place. And I'm sure I'm getting into double digits guessing. I can certainly tell you that. In other words, Boris and the banking cabal, the entire control structures game is the global synchronized collapse. How do you do your problem, reaction, solution? You need everyone to be a leper in the leper colony. You can't have healthy economies. You can't have none. You need to be able to blame it on globalization and how could we have foreseen? Black Swan event. Everything is intertwined. He owns a little bit of him over him over him. Look into my eyes, look into my eyes. One hand holding here, holding there. We all fall down together. You see, and that means they need to be able to pull Britain down to the floor with the collapse of the EU government. They need to reduce you all to the lowest common denominator so that they come with their sprinkling of leprosy healing and everybody needs it, but there is a prescription and you have to do XYZ the following. All swear allegiance to the new watermelon communism where the world and the planet's about to end in a decade, and we need carbon taxes to replace the fact that we're no longer going to be running the oil monopoly under the Rockefellers and all the various global corporates such as BP, Exxon Mobil, etc., where we will be able to skim off all forms of economic activity. We will now have new forms of taxes to take us into the new realm, and all our agendas can be pursued globally. You will all have unique tax identity numbers, no matter which country you're from, so that you will all have at least one pay point for which you'll be extracted from, etc., etc., etc. All the blockchain will come in useful for tracking that, your movements, your money, the killing of cash, etc., etc. The solution that is coming, that is going to take the world, the parasitic control structure that will take you into the new technological Bretton Woods Mark II moment, where all of these deep-seated shifts will be taking place, all the infrastructure has been put in, all the corporates that are part of this cartel that are going to ensure that you are controlled, the likes that all pay next to no tax, such as Amazon. In fact, I was reading, I think Amazon paid 5 million on revenues of about 39 billion. That's equivalent to someone on $30,000 paying $17 tax. $30,000 a year, paying $17 tax. You know, you can't make it up. These guys are there and they're doing the deals because they are part of the communistic control structure, the corporatocracy. And for that, they get invested in by the insiders. Israel was like Apple and Amazon since day one. They all got the little tip off and the nod because they know where the tech control structure arms are being driven. You've got Apple, Microsoft, and Alphabet all at all-time highs, and you have probably by unemployment numbers, supposedly the lowest unemployment ever, which if you use the 1994 figures, you would have 20% unemployment. There's a ridiculous reduction in participation rate, people that have given up looking, people that are supposedly working 3 jobs to earn the wages of what they used to earn on 1 job. In this miracle economy, which is actually truly unraveling, you have this complete fake narrative coming at you about it's never been so good, and a complete diametrically opposed hollowing out of the middle classes and everything but the corporatocracy rich. And here you have the EU granting us an extension exactly as asked, like they're so cooperative and so helpful and all of that, giving you just what you need, and it's you who don't know what you want, when in actual fact you have an EU class of bureaucrat MP that is there to obstruct the people and the people's wishes. You have traitors in the midst. You have likes of Lammy and Abbott and all sorts of other absolute traitors that Blair, my God, Tony effing Blair, what an absolute war criminal, backed by Campbell and all the other deceivers and spin doctors of proven track record, calling liar on the Brexit about having money saved for no longer having to contribute to the EU. This is, oh, you would never get that amount of money, whatever, but they can't even tell you how much you pay to be a member of this club. No one can agree, and no accountant can sign off on their books, and they have a rotating head office with a week in Strasbourg where they pack everything into trucks to drive for 1 week in France so that France doesn't feel maligned. And this is all supposed to be an economically sensible realm that is in a state of collapse, where they had one flipping monetary policy, yet different fiscal policies from Greece all the way to Germany, that's destined and guaranteed to fail, and was set up to fail, was designed to fail. It is part of the coordinated structure of the debt ramp that sees Australia to America, all at an incredibly debt overladen state, that sees China, that had no debt, run from 2009 lows, creating heat into the economy, to now having more than twice the M2 supply of America at 28 trillion, so that we can all ensure that everyone is kissed the leper and has leprosy, so that they can all be put in the pen and all fall down together, so that the miracle workers that will come out, the politicians that are now being moved in instead of bankers at the EU, as in Lagarde for Draghi, can all be there to sign and negotiate and put their paw prints for peace in our time, new world financial order that is all coming, and Britain has to be tied to the sinking ship of absolute fallacy and fuckery and deception and deceit. And you're going to sit there and you're going to eat up that crap that Boris is working for you because he looks like he's doing a deal. Nothing but a no deal and a complete walk away and a complete severance of all arrangements and all liabilities tied to the EU is indeed acceptable. The EU is about to collapse. It is going to collapse well inside the 12 years period. And if you are in any way still tied through mealy-mouthed shitty deals that have been signed by fake ass deceiver politicians that pretend to be Brexiteers, you're an absolute moron. You're being synchronized. The game will win. I told you they will drag you down. I told you will never get a clean Brexit. I told you they will never let you have your own money, and they will bringing this all about, and the treachery they are going to expose the fact that there is no true democracy. You live in a corporatocracy, communism. You're about to get the watermelon variety now, and the new financial world order all brought upon you, and there's nothing we can do about it because they're all sharks. If you don't vote 100% Brexit party solely on any future election, whether it be in December or in any other time, you have no hope. And even in spite of that, I would expect that they would go to vote fraud if there was any real risk of the current stooges that are all working for the EU bureaucrats class to manage the sheeple. They're all junior members. They're all little minion leaders, little one-liner lance corporals, those MPs in the control structure that are working for their upper minions to maintain some hope that they don't get severed and dragged to the abattoir with the rest of the sheeple that think that Remain is a great idea, and tying yourself to a sinking ship that is absolutely wrought with corruption, never had its books signed off on, and is absolute fraud personified, control fraud to the umpteenth, has entrenched corporatocracy power, has done nothing for small and medium enterprise businesses, added red tape upon piles of red tape, prevented you from dealing direct with Africa and getting non-bent bananas by the right amount of degrees and getting cheaper food into your countries, negotiating your own trade deals. And no, the NHS is at risk whether you are part of the EU or whether you are not. And America and its military industrial complex and its pharmaceutical industrial complex is wreaking havoc throughout the world, and the EU isn't going to be the one to save you. So staying in the EU to save your NHS is kind of like saying I'll tie myself to the ship because it'll sink one way, not another way, and at least while I'm dying there'll be a nurse to put a band-aid on my forehead. You're absolutely a lunatic. It's time everybody got out, voted Brexit, threw every single MP out. I don't trust Johnson at all. I'm not even sure I trust Mogg. You want an absolute no deal. There is no deal to be done with a bankrupt nation. If you are in any way financially engaged, if I told you you have to sign a partnership with me in joint venture, joint and several liability, and I was a crook, a fraud, and a bankrupt, would you sign that paperwork? Well, why are you allowing deals with Britain with fraudulent, unaccountable bureaucracies that are absolutely on borrowed time and trying to steal the last that they can steal before it all blows up? And this is what you're getting. Guys, if you want to manage this time period properly, if you recognize that a great reset is coming, you need to click the like and share. You need to go watch our mini series. The big trades are absolutely coming, and you need to make money because this is a polarizing event. People aren't going to see this coming. I think we're going to see the beginning of this start to unravel after, I still suspect, Trump getting re-elected for a second term. Very short thereafter, they're going to start pulling all the dominoes in, and they will start collapsing from the periphery into the middle. But let me tell you, the EU that you might think is somewhere in the middle, it will be one of the earlier ones to fold after the emerging markets and the great Asian markets currency collapse that we still see that is coming. There are so many awesome trades. There's so many things you can do to protect yourself. There's very little you could probably do to stop this, despite voting Brexit. I don't believe even that will stop it, but it might delay it eventually. Come and be part of our community. Book a call to have a chat below. Come and have a check out what we're doing. We're doing non-farm payrolls. That'll be this Friday. You can jump on that, and you can see how we will be playing the big collapse in the global markets brought about by the EU dragging Britain's head under the water because you are being betrayed by the people you supposedly vote for in one of the most corrupt, contemptible marks, where they are just the sheepdog for their shepherd, and you are the bleating sheep that they are herding up. With that lovely positive message, enjoy your week ahead and decide if you're going to come out of this better, or you're going to be part of the many that go down with a big crash they're planning for you. Problem, reaction, their solution. Big problem coming. You will see your pain and reaction when they lock down their accounts. You can't get your ATM cash out to any significant degree, and all things start going back, and everyone screams to the powers that be, what will you do? And then they roll out and pull that purple velvet curtain back on the solution that they've been prepping in all those Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove, behind closed doors, schmarly, schmaltzy, corporatocracy, little gigs that they've been putting up. Watch out. It's going to hurt, and their solution is going to be nasty. Like the vaccines they give your kids. It's going to sting, it's going to be loaded with mercury, and it ain't going to be the same again. Plan for your freedom now. With that exciting message, I close the event on those rather ranty proceedings, and I will catch you later on in the charade. Bye for now.